In his early days, Iron Mike's 5'10" height wasn't enough, costing him the confidence of the U.S. Olympic team. Instead of crumbling after losing the dream of his life, Tyson worked hard enough to turn what others saw as a weakness into one of his greatest weapons. Welcome. In today's video, we'll relive battles where Tyson faced true giants of the ring and emerged victorious. Spoiler alert, he seriously injured one of them outside the ring. Want to know who? Keep watching until the end. Mike Tyson versus Jesse Ferguson. On February 16th, 1986, Mike Tyson stepped into the ring to face Jesse Ferguson. The 6'2" giant boasted a professional record of 14 wins, 10 by knockout, and 1 loss. In the other corner, Tyson's undefeated record of 17 knockout victories tipped the scales in his favor. With Luis Rivera as the third man in the ring that night, the fighters took to the center of the ring at the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York. Tyson landed solid body hooks and snapped Ferguson's head back with a pair of uppercuts.
A couple of those punches appeared low.
See Ferguson go into the corner and onto the ropes, and then counter with left hooks off the ropes. Very much to Tyson's liking.
Starting out, going to the body, have some of Tyson's 12 first-round knockout victims, but now
Ferguson spent much of the first half of the opening round with his back against the ropes. Bravely, he tried to block Tyson's punches and managed to land a few of his own in the last minute.
Always in position to punch.
we'll be back.
Tyson continued to punish the giant with body shots in the second round. Much of the third round was a close quarters battle, with Tyson outpunching Ferguson, who seemed to have grown accustomed to being cornered against the ropes.
Got to drain something out of him. He is not breathing heavily. He looks in pretty good shape at this point.
You mentioned, of course, the relation.
In the fourth round, clinches started to dominate the fight as Ferguson complained that Tyson was hitting too low.
During this fight, his problem.
At the start of the fifth round, Ferguson threw a jab, trying to stay close enough to smother Tyson's power. Stepping back, Tyson was able to find his way to victory again by working diligently with body shots. A savage combination of a right hook to the body and a right uppercut broke Ferguson's nose, sending him heavily to the canvas on his back.
Was in trouble in both the first and 10th rounds, and now he's in trouble here. Blood coming up.
Ferguson got up at the count of 8, but this was just the beginning of his end. For the rest of the round, Tyson punished him for daring to rise, with referee Luis Rivera closely following the action.
Almost stopped it there. Mike Tyson's known as a great finisher. Let's see how he does with Ferguson.
Ferguson gamely hanging in.
In the sixth round, Ferguson, completely intimidated by Tyson's power, started engaging in desperate clinches. Over a minute in, the giant received a warning for this. Just a few seconds later, Ferguson grabbed both of Tyson's gloves and refused to let the referee separate them. At that point, Luis Rivera had no choice but to wave an arm over his head, signaling a disqualification of the giant for refusing to separate from Tyson once again when ordered. This was the first fight in which Mike Tyson lasted more than 5 rounds in the ring. Shortly after, the commission changed the result from disqualification to victory by technical knockout. Mike Tyson versus James Tillis. On May 3, 1986, Mike Tyson stepped into the ring at the Civic Center in Glen Falls, New York, to face James Tillis. The 6'1" giant boasted a professional record of 31 wins, 24 of them by knockout and 8 losses. Despite his lesser track record, once again, Tyson's 19 undefeated knockout victories seemed to tip the scales in his favor. With Joe Cortez as the third man in the ring, both fighters jumped into the bout, determined to go all the way to secure victory. At the start of the first round, Tyson landed solid right hands. While Tillis moved well, working behind a jab that connected fairly well, Tyson managed to land a powerful right hook in the final seconds.
referee, the only one of the 3 judges in Las Vegas a few weeks ago who scored the lariat.
Win a decision in this fight, Jim. He has to try to take the fighters because Tyson's hands were not tied up.
In the second round, Tyson followed his corner's advice and threw a jab while closing the distance, landing a good right hand that stopped Tillis cold 53 seconds into the opening bell. Tillis fought back, landing a solid left hook in the first half of the round and a good left uppercut in the final minute.
In the Olympic trials,
Tillis knocked down 2 of them. Tillis out with it, but he will wear him down and bring his hands.
The hardest punches of the third round were landed by Tyson, who caught Tillis with a combination, receiving in return flurries from a giant he had already tamed, to the point of leaving him against the ropes.
He's trying to learn how to box with James Quick Tillis. He's going to have to be able to handle a Quick Tillis to get to the top of the even. He is right now.
In the first minute of the fourth round, Tillis seemed to recover by landing well with his left hand, but counterattacking when Tillis came at him in the final seconds of the round. Tyson caught him with a left hook that quickly knocked him down, sending him to the canvas.
Before he got punched, again he lunges in and gets caught.
the left hand.
Tillis got up at the count of 3 and didn't seem hurt. However, this knockdown cost him what had been his best round of the fight so far. Tillis came out in the 5th round with more aggression, landing punches to the head of a Tyson who struggled to keep up with the giant. Still, Tyson activated his finish mode in the final minute of the round, unleashing sadistic body shots that seemed to hurt the giant just before landing a violent barrage to the upper body.
We talked about the right to the body and the right uppercut, but he didn't land it. Isolated punches go. A single indicates that Quick Tillis was hurt by those 2 body punches.
Tillis moved well, appearing to work his way to victory from the outside during the 6th round. But once again, Tyson closed the round looking strong, landing tenacious body shots. Tillis dominated much of the 7th round before Tyson stepped in late and opened a cut over Tillis's left eye with a bloody right hand.
Tyson. And the uppercut. Tillis grabs him behind the head. Tillis landed a left, didn't seem to faze Tyson.
After this high point in the fight, neither fighter managed to land a significant blow in the 8th round. In the 9th round, Tillis continued to outbox Tyson. Moving well, the giant managed to connect from the outside, while Tyson's attacks decreased in volume. The 10th round didn't look good for Tyson as Tillis managed to control him, but Tyson went into beast mode in the 2nd minute of the round, creating a brutal exchange of punches that continued even after the closing bell. When the announcer took the center of the ring, after minutes of uncertainty, Mike Tyson was declared the winner by unanimous decision in the 10th round. This was the first time a fighter had taken Tyson to the end of a professional fight, a milestone that should be recognized and honored for James Tillis. Mike Tyson versus Mitch Green. Just 17 days after his victory over James Tillis on May 20th, 1986, Mike Tyson stepped into the ring at the legendary Madison Square Garden in New York to face Mitch Green. The 6'5" giant boasted a professional record of 16 wins, 10 by knockout, 1 loss, and 1 draw. At that time, Tyson's professional record remained undefeated with 20 wins, 19 of them by knockout. With Luis Rivera as the 3rd man in the ring, the fighters jumped into battle. Throughout the fight, Tyson was successful in pressuring Green. Before beating him by unanimous decision, Tyson made sure to leave him with a psychological scar that traveled through powerful punches aimed at Green's head and body. Tyson's fury led him to knock Green's mouthguard out 3 times while shaking him with short, devastating punches to the head and body.
When he throws his punches. And he did draw a warning from Luis Rivera, the referee, about holding. Green's in trouble.
Those shots to the body is doing his tick.
Now here we see White.
Even so, Green's bravery or stubbornness didn't allow him to quit. Green appeared confident as he counterattacked on several occasions with powerful flurries. But as the rounds progressed, it seemed that the exciting moments of the fight only continued to diminish. During the final rounds, the crowd of 6,069 joined in boos directed at the fighters, and it was understandable. In retrospect, Tyson never truly endangered Green, and Green seemed determined to fight for survival, not to win. After 10 rounds, Tyson was declared the winner by unanimous decision. However, his true victory would take place on the streets. In the early hours of August 23, 1988, Mike Tyson and Mitch Green faced each other once again. Tyson stopped by Dapper Dan's, a Harlem clothing store, to pick up a custom-made jacket when Green, who was in the area, ambushed him. The heated argument led Green to throw a punch, to which Tyson responded with one of his infamous straight rights that landed on the bridge of Green's nose. The audacity of confronting Iron Mike outside the ring cost Green a wound that required several stitches, but Tyson didn't come out unscathed. Due to the brutality of the punch, Tyson fractured his hand, forcing him to postpone his first scheduled fight with Frank Bruno. If you've made it this far, thank you. Remember, the best way to support my content is by leaving a like on the video. What other battle against a giant do you think should be remembered in a part 2 of this video? Tell me about it in the comments.